Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Jalen Says. And today, now, when I looked over her bio, I knew this one was going to be a very interesting interview. She has a lot of stuff going on with her. She's been in everything. She's worked with everything. You could think it. I said this before, but if you think it, she's probably been in it. All right, I was about to spoil it, but before we get into this amazing interview, I would like to thank our wonderful sponsors. Up first, you already know it's On Time Sunwear. Sunwear that's always on time. I mean, look at this, fashionable. They have stuff for spring, winter, summer, fall. You can name it, they got it. They have some incredible sunglasses, and I'm glad to be sponsored by them. So if you guys want some cool shades that are always on time and always usable at the right time, please check out On Time Sunwear because, hey, they have some nice sunwear. Also, we'd like to thank the Mitchell's Academy of Music and Dance. Now, I've been with the Mitchells for a while now, and they have really, I guess, elevated my performance. They know what they're doing. They've been in the music business for a really long time, so they've worked with countless bands, countless name bands. So if you guys do have a passion for music, please check them out. Also, how many times do I have to tell you guys this? If you haven't went already, you already know what you're missing by now. I told you this countless Thursdays, all right? Tropical flavor, Caribbean flavor. When I tell you, oh, it's crunchy, it's juicy, it's delicious, it's savory, it's spicy. It has everything to it. And when I tell you, I told you guys this before, but like when I got the fish, it was like a medium-sized fish. When I got it, it was basically like half the size of the table. And I'm talking length, half the size of the table. I'm not lying to you. We have a picture and everything for proof. It's some incredible food. It's not just quantity, it's quality. So please make sure if you're in the area, check out Tropical Flavor for a taste of the islands. Also, Eris Talent Agency. Now, if you are in the industry and you are doing what you're doing and you are doing it, I'd recommend you getting an agent. Now, with Eris, it's really incredible. I've been getting a ton of interviews with Eris. I've been getting just a lot of work with Eris. So if you guys are in the industry and you do want to, I guess, get more auditions and really just be out there more, please check out Eris Talent Agency because Eris know what they're doing. They know what they're doing because they're pretty good at it. So again, if you are in the entertainment industry and you need to get an agent, please audition. Please check them out because they're incredible. Also, Flame Entertainment. Now, Miss Flame Entertainment, she is a wonderful person. She's a wonderful manager. She's a fantastic manager. First off, she's been in the music industry. She's been through all the ropes and all that. So she's basically trained in it. So she knows what she's doing. And she's going to use that knowledge to really help you and manage your career. If you guys do remember on some of my videos, I have an interview with one of her artists, and I also interviewed her myself. So I don't want to spoil anything for the interview, but she's jam-packed with stuff. She knows what she's talking about when she's managing. And I'm telling you, if you guys are an artist doing your thing, please check her out because she's incredible at what she does. Now that all the sponsors are done, we have to do a little short introduction for my wonderful guest. All right. She is a minister. She's a wife. She's a mother. She's a grandmother. She's been in countless films. She's sang for countless films. She's been in it all. She's been in it all. She has a bunch of experience, and she was actually in a movie I recently just watched, like not even a month ago. So, hey, without further ado, here's Miss DeEtta West. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you, Jalen?
I am doing fantastic.
Good, good. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I've been excited and thinking about it. I love chatting it up, and I know that Jalen says a whole lot, and I know you're gonna be chatting it up tonight.
Yes. You have a lot. You have a lot to talk about, a lot to get through. So first off, who is Miss DeEtta West?
Oh, okay. You know, it's always so difficult, and I'm sure you find this when you interview all of the amazing guests that you have had on your show. So it's kind of hard to talk about myself, but I know it's a part of what I need to do and I have to do. So
Yes.
DeEtta West is uh, was born in San Diego, California. I attended San Diego State University, where I majored in music and minored in drama. I have been in the entertainment industry for, whew, I don't mind telling my age, but I've been in it for about, I'd say about 40 plus years, if not longer. Just been doing a lot, from even going back even further than that, when being in school and in elementary school and junior high school. And of course, nowadays they call it middle school, and it's, you know, all then it's high school. So any stage play that would open up for auditions or whatever, I was going to be in it, or put in it, because I didn't have to audition. So I got a little spoiled in my school years, because they knew mainly I did a lot of singing more than acting. So DeEtta comes from a family of three brothers. Two have transitioned and have gone home to be with the Lord. And I have one living brother who is out in California, a sister who lives here in Georgia.
Okay.
And so there's a total of five of us. And I'm a grandmama. Two of my grandkids are out in California with my oldest daughter, Nicole, and my son-in-law. And then have one on the way, and he's due any day now. So
Wow.
we're excited about
Yes.
that. And I have an amazing son and a daughter, both who are here in Georgia. And I've been married for it'll be coming up in next year. Wow, I think 45 years. 45 years. So and again, just DeEtta is a person who loves God with all of her heart and all of her soul, and who is totally committed to taking all of the gifts that God has deposited in me and to use them in every area, to use them for His glory. I don't know. I could tell you so much other stuff. You know, I've done a lot of stuff, and we'll probably talk a little more about the work that I've done. But if people just really need to check me out, they can go to, you know what, IMDb, the database, where you'll get the whole list of the things that I've been blessed to be a part of.
Yes, and it is a whole list, because normally I'd be like, wow, this is a long introduction, but after seeing your bio and after seeing all the things that you do, I feel like it wasn't long enough, because honestly, when I was going through this, I was just wowed by all the things that you do. So to get this started off, what kind of sparked your love in music, which I guess brought you into the industry?
Well, because again, it started out in my younger years. It was more of the singing, because just discovered that I could sing. My mother always, mom and dad, but my mother always knew that I was going to be doing something vocal and using my voice more than just to run my mouth and to talk. That there was a gift and talent, and those things were just discovered. They just in school. I always loved music. So if there was a choir, I was going to be in that choir, and in church, I was going to be in the choir. And once I did get involved and begin to tap into that particular gift, then I was used in that area. Like I said, in plays. And then I worked, as I got older, worked in nightclubs. I've been any talent that I would do. If I was in a beauty pageant back in the day, I'm not all about that now, but I was about that then. My talent would always be singing, and I would, in most cases, if not all, win in categories where I was using my vocals. And then fast forward, I continue to use and hone those skills in every area. And then I can't say I looked up on, because I'm not one who believes in look, I know we use that word a lot, but I believe that when doors are for us, when something is for us, God opens up doors and those are blessings. And so that happened when I had the opportunity to sing on the soundtrack for the movie Rocky.
Yes.
And that was so exciting how that happened. And the backstory on that is that I was working at a television network, and the man who composed all the music for Rocky and has done so many other things. He actually was the orchestra conductor for the Academy Awards way back in the day for several years. He was a conductor. Bill Conte is his name. But back in the day, before he really, really got started back in the 70s, his wife and I worked together, but I didn't know who he was from A Man on the Moon because he was successful in Europe and came to the States and was then attempting to begin his career. And I remember I was sitting at my desk one day and I would always hum or sing. And she said to me, DeEtta, do you sing? I hear your voice and it sounds really great. And I said, I do a little singing. And she said, I'd love for you to meet my husband. He's trying to do some things here. We live here, haven't lived in the States long, but so I said, oh, okay, sure. So she set it up and I came to her house one day after work and there was the amazing Bill Conte, who I didn't know who he was, from A Man on the Moon, sitting on at the piano. And he said, sing. He's very, very Italian, you know. He says, sing. What do you want to sing? And I was like, oh, okay. I was thrown off guard, and I love Roberta Flack, and I started singing the first time ever I saw your face. And you're young, Jalen. You probably don't know nothing about those songs, but it's a wonderful song. And I just started singing the first time ever I saw your face, and I sang it, and I was so nervous. And he was playing, and then I stopped because I figured I'm like, just he wants to hear a little bit, and he said, keep going, and then I kept singing, and he said, you have a good voice.
Wow.
And that was history. That was the rest of the story. And next thing, I'm in a big studio with a huge orchestra with the strings and everything else, and singing "Gonna Fly Now, Flying High Now," and really didn't realize the impact of this movie was going to be big. You know, as you well know, Rocky. Dun 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 dun. You know that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So music, and then went on to stage plays next and did some voiceovers during my time in Los Angeles, living there. And then here we are.
Yeah. So was that when you figured out that music would be, I guess, actual, I guess, I wouldn't say business, but an actual career path? Or was it before that?
That was when, no, it was at that point when I figured that was going to be a career path for me, because it took off. I mean, it was like, I'm on an album, a major, and I'm singing in a studio with a full orchestra and strings and baby grand piano and all of that. And I'm like, this is it, you know, this is it. So yes. And then I started, and then again, stage plays came in, and then I said, oh, I can act. Now, my brother was an actor, the one he actually was the sheriff in the movie. And I don't know, Jalen, if you probably know Blazing Saddles, which is an all-time great movie. And if you haven't seen Blazing Saddles, you gotta check it out. But his name is Cleavon, Clea, V as in Victor, O-N, Little. And a lot of people are always very surprised when they, especially those who are, like I said, older than you, and they know that movie was one of the top. I mean, it was a big movie.
Yeah, because like as soon as I just typed in BLAZ, it just popped right up.
Yeah. So I took that path, and then went on to doing more acting. And then as far as singing, a lot of the times when I would sing would be when I would being on the field in my ministry work, because people who knew that I could sing, they would always want me to sing when I go to various conferences, retreats, revivals. If I was speaking, and I would always do the what they call the sermonic solo. So before
Okay.
I would speak, I'd get up after I would be introduced, and then I'd start singing a song that would kind of relax me. It would relax me to then go forth and minister the word of God and deposit life into those who were there to hear it and to get some help, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. Was Rocky the main thing that pushed you into the acting world,
Um
or was it your family? Well, I
I
guess not pushed you, but kind of.
I think it I the catapult I think no, it wasn't Rocky, because I was actually, when I think about it, I was doing some things, like I said, in school. So some of the stage plays, that's where I really, it started to stir up even before I sang on the soundtrack for Rocky, when I would do a lot of stage plays in school, you know. And in fact, it's so interesting that prior to Rocky, when I was going to San Diego State, I went to school with Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed in the first in Rocky, the very movie that I ended up singing on.
Yes.
And we were in a play together, and he was my West Side Story, and he was my partner in West Side Story. And so fast forward, when we both saw each other years later at the screening of the
Rock.
Rocky movie, and I was like,
Wow.
what is this? What? And so we were so excited about the fact that here he is, the star, you know, because he was Apollo Creed. And if you follow the Rocky, if you saw the first one, then you know who Carl Weathers is. And then he was in the second one. And then Creed, Apollo Creed, as you know, Michael B., that's the Creed movies. Carl Weathers, my schoolmate, was the basis of, when I say Creed now. So Michael B. was the son of Apollo Creed, you know, if you,
Yes.
yeah. So, but yeah, so acting and singing was my first start in school, where I started getting the stage and the
Yeah.
choir, and then doing stage plays and so forth. Yeah.
Okay. When you first started off, what did you like more, and what do you like now? Stage plays or on screen?
I love them both, because it's too dynamic. It's two different dynamics. With the stage plays, what I loved most about stage plays is that you have a live audience, and they and if you're doing and if you're in it, and you feed into them, and they
Yeah.
feed in to you, and you really have a lot of leeway and rope to just do what you do. So I love that about the stage. But then on camera with the film on TV, what I love about that is you have the opportunity to make a mistake, because they're going to do it again. You can do it again. When you're on
Yes.
stage, once it's out there, and if you miss a line or if you mess up, you better find your way back, because you can throw the whole stage play off if you're,
Yeah.
or your partner, whoever you're in a scene with, is trying to wait for that tagline, that line that's going to lead them in to their. So that's the difference. With loving, it's two different dynamics. It's two different things, and
Yes.
I love them both. It's
Yeah.
hard to really answer that one or the other.
Okay. Okay. Wow. All right. Though later in life as well, I do know. I don't know if this was later or earlier, but you did work at Warner Brothers, which
Mhm.
is something. How was that experience?
It was great. At that time, I was working for the uh, president and president CEO of the WB television network, and now it's called CW. But at that time, it was the WB television network.
Oh.
And so I worked with him as his executive assistant for over 10 years. And working with him, that's how I ended up here in Georgia, because working with him, there was a point where they wanted him, his name is Jamie Kellner, to come and to sort of run TBS, Turner Broadcasting System. And so after being, like I said, with him for 10 years in Los Angeles at the WB at Warner Brothers, he accepted the offer to come and to do that. And then he then eventually asked my family and I, would we uproot and come to Georgia? And of course, we were friend to the family, friend to him. We were close knit. And I said, sure. And so my husband, he was ready because he's from the South. He's born in Michigan, but basically raised in Alabama. All of it. That was where, so that was like, oh, that would be great. He was like, oh, that's good. And then the kids, my son and daughter, because my oldest was already older and she was in her life. And so we always do so much together. So it wasn't like they were sad that they were going to have to pick up and leave all their friends and come to Georgia. They were ready to go. And we moved here and haven't turned back, even though I'm no longer working for that person, because he and his family decided that they wanted to move back to California. And that was around in 2003 or 4. It was around in 2003 or 4, because we moved to Georgia in 2001, relocated here. And so when they moved back, then I said, he asked, do you want to go back to Los Angeles and we'll make things happen? Or I said, we've fallen in love with Georgia and we just want to stay here. And so I said, I know that God is going to open up some door somewhere and somehow, and he certainly did just that. And that's when I started working for another network. It was at that time a new upstart network called Gospel Music Channel. And they aired, it was like MTV with a heavenly twist. That's what they call. So they aired all gospel music videos. So it would be like rock, pop, country, soul, and even hip hop. But the tagline was, it's all gospel. So rock, pop, country, soul, and even hip hop, it's all gospel. And and I was there for about 18 years. Started the network there, and they changed from Gospel Music Channel to GMC to Up TV, and they have Aspire TV, which is a umbrella. They all kind of come under Up TV, Up Entertainment. So you have streaming, and then I have some people that I just love and adore that are back there helping make that network continue to go and grow, especially on the Aspire TV side. My dear friend Angela, her name is Angela Cannon, and then my other dear friend, she's not there anymore, Melissa Ingram, helped to really go and grow Aspire TV. And then some great friends on the upside that are continue to try to keep that machine going. And
going, yes.
And they're airing Aspire TV and Up too, but I know Aspire is airing my Christmas movies that I did. Did about 15 movies when I was working at Up TV, and I did 5 Christmas movies that are like sequels to each other, and they'll be doing a marathon of them on Christmas Eve on Aspire TV. So
okay, all right, that seems I might have to watch that.
Yes.
I have to. All right. So before I get into what happens next after Gospel Channel Network, Up TV.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get in contact with all these people in the first place? Because I'm guessing after, you got in contact with one of the bigger ones, a lot of the other ones also knew about you. But how did you, I guess, get to a place where you were networking like that?
Well, when I arrived here and from California and started working at CNN/TBS, Turner Broadcasting, a lot of my contacts and a lot of my connections came through there because you just when you're in a big that's a big network, that's a big cable, that's huge. And
Yeah, it
so
is.
a lot of my contacts, and then plus the man that I worked for, the his team of executives were also great contacts because a lot of them are not there and some left before I did. So the great thing about getting to Gospel Music Channel, how I got to Gospel Music Channel, is because one of the executives that worked under my Warner Brothers exec um, recommended me when he partnered and started the network Gospel Music Channel with another executive. He recommended that they reach out to me. They said, if you want to get someone to help us start this network, we need to you need to check out DeEtta West. And so that's when that started. So that was that connection. And then once I got
Something.
there at Gospel Music Channel, and then they began to incorporate not only music, but they were doing stage plays. They started putting some, and then they discovered that I did some acting, and so then they started casting me. There's a dear one woman who she was the executive VP of programming, is the one who basically said everything that we do, you're going to be in it, because she got a taste of the gifting. And so
Wow.
practically every movie that we did, so I was in like 15, 16 of their movies. And so then that then brought about the other connections through the various production companies. Swirl Films used to do a lot of stuff for the network. And so then one thing led to the other, and meeting other executives that would come to the network and work and then go off to do other things. That's why I was able to do about two or three movies on Lifetime. I did the Kirk Franklin, A Gospel Christmas. I don't know if
Wow.
you got to see that, Jalen.
Okay.
It's yeah, you can Google all of them. It'll tell you where you can watch all of those great Christmas movies. So
Okay.
that's how my connections happen, Jalen. It's just you have to continue to, first you have to treat people like you want to be treated, and you can't get too big for your britches, because when God opens doors, you want to be able to have people that want to work with you.
Yeah.
And just because you do one movie doesn't mean, when I say you, just people in general, don't think that you're grand and you're the best thing since sliced bread. You got to continue. At the age of 73, almost 74, I'll be 74 next month. I
Wow.
continue to try to hone my craft and continue to learn and continue to grow, because things change, the climate change. Voiceover stuff is not like it was uh, 25 years ago when I was doing it back then. And that's why I've had a little challenge of trying to get back into doing voiceover, because it's you gotta know what you know, and
Yes.
connect with the people that can help you get there.
What made you want to start voiceover?
um when I was in California, there was a young lady who was a very, very good friend. Her name is Nancy Carter, a very good friend of my brother, the actor brother. And so she and I used to kind of hang out. And I remember one day her saying to me, we were having breakfast, and she said, "Have you ever thought about doing voiceover?" I didn't know what that meant, Jalen. I didn't know what a voiceover. I said, "What is that?" She said, then she went on to explain, when you're watching TV or you're listening and you hear the voice, but you don't see on commercials, but you don't see the face. I said, yeah. She said, that's a voiceover. And I said, no, I never thought about that. She said, you have an amazing voice and you need to tap. And I said, okay, you mean my singing voice? She said, no, your speaking voice. You have a
Wow.
great speaking voice. And so she connected me with the producer that did voiceovers. He took me into the studio. I did a voiceover demo, like I said, that was about, it had to be 30 years ago, if not
Mhm.
more. And then she said, then we send it, you get them dubbed and you send them out to all of the voiceover agents in Los Angeles, and they'll start biting. If there's somebody that's interested, they'll grab it, and then
Mhm.
they'll meet with you and you can get representation. And I said, okay. So we did that, and I got three bites, and went to and the second one was, and I had no idea of how big this agency was, but they wanted me to come in and
Mm-hmm.
to have a meeting with the whole. It was like I was so nervous. It was like all of I don't know if it was all the reps, but it was like five or six of them in a big boardroom, and I'm
Wow.
like, what in the world is this? And so I walked in, and they said, well, we heard your demo and you have a great voice. Have you done any voiceover work? I said, no, this is my first shot. And they said, well, you really have a good voice, and we're interested in signing you, but what we'd like for you to do first is to take a voiceover class. And we recommend, and they gave me the name of the company, I mean, the voiceover uh, work coach. And
Yeah.
I said, okay. And they said, and once you finish that, you'll be ready. We know you come back and sign. We'll sign you. And I said, oh, okay. So I started the class, and it was an 8-week course. It was an 8-week course. And I got probably about into the third week, and I get a call from the agent saying, we want you to go out on an audition. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like,
Okay.
I don't even what I'm like just dumbfounded. So I called my friend, the one who told me I needed to do voiceover. I said, okay, I the agency wants me to do an audition. I've never stepped into a room, even though where I'm in a class right now, they're not really talking much about, the process of auditions. They're just training and seeing if we have the voices, blah, blah, blah. And she said, okay, here's what you do. They're going to give you an address. Here's where you go. They're going to have something that you're going to have to read when you walk into the studio. You walk in and you just do that, just like you did your demo tape. You just go in and you follow the instructions. They'll direct you. They'll do that, and you're done. And I said, okay. So that's what I did, Jalen. I walked in. I was going in like I knew what I was doing. They
Okay.
took me in the studio, put your headphone on, did the audition, blah, blah,
Okay.
walked out. My agent called, said, we need to get you in here and sign you because you just booked a national commercial. First time. Made theft dough, as they say. And I went in and I signed. And when they said a national commercial, I had to call my friend. I said, what does it mean if you book a national? Girl, that means coins, ching, ching. That means it's airing all over. It's not just locally here in California. It's all over. And when you book a national, you are making a lot of money every time it airs. And I did. And I made a lot of money. I was like, so that was the beginning of the voiceover.
That's something.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
I'm flabbergasted. So on the first try, well, not I guess first try. Wow.
First audition.
So how was your voiceover career after that?
It was busy in Los Angeles. It was busy. Then when we moved, when we moved to Georgia, I had to find an acting agent, and fortunately, I'll get to that. So when I came here, at that point, the agency that I had in Los Angeles didn't have agency or branches in like New York or Chicago, whatever. So I had to find a voiceover agent, and they didn't do too much for me. And I said, well, I'm going to just focus. I'll do what I did a few things. And that's how I met the wonderful Maria Howe from The Color Purple. Not the one that's out now, but the one where you probably remember when Shug Avery was going to church and you heard a voice in the choir, speak, Lord, speak, and that was my friend, Maria Howe led that choir. And of course, she's an amazing singer and actress. And we met in we were doing a commercial for Publix. It was a basically a voiceover. We were doing it was for radio, and we were doing a jingle for Public. So we had to do a little singing, but that basically was for Public. And so I kind of did some things, a few things here, and that kind of fizzled out. But I did start getting a little more active and busy in the acting piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as well with acting, I do see that you had your own show, Tea with DeEtta. So how did that pop up?
Well, that popped up because it was a young lady who I worked with at the WB
Okay.
who tracked me. I mean, because that all happened again. That was all in Los Angeles. And she said, I would love for you to sponsorship. It was a local show called Tea with DeEtta. And she said, because you know a lot of people, and it was a little talk show, and you can invite people on. She had a studio, and it was set up, where the two chairs and the coffee table, like the talk shows are set up.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. So I had a few of my friends that I was able to get on the show, and it aired, like I said, locally. And then I couldn't do that for a long period of time because I had so much other stuff on my plate, because I was continuing to work a 9 to 5 and then still trying to do my other acting things. So it kind of didn't take precedence, but it was good while it lasted.
It sounds like it was.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas of, having another show like that?
I have had many approach me about it, but they have approached me, you need to do a podcast, or you need to do a YouTube channel. Or I'm like, I would have to have a lot of help. I would have to have some help pulling all of that together, all the logistics. And so there are some who are just kind of just say the word if you want to do it, and we'll go for it and we'll help you do it. And JALEN, I just haven't taken the time to do it. It's called, I can't say procrastination. It's just called that I have my focus on so much other stuff as far as my acting career, that I should have started it when they were really on me about it. And that's when the pandemic hit. So we had all that time when everybody was doing everything online and continued to, and being successful at it. And I think if I had have taken time then, I would have already been in the groove, because I did have more time at that time, because my job at that time, we were all working remotely. So I had a little more flexibility to do those things, but I didn't. Procrastination, not a good thing.
No, it's not.
No.
But
I'm glad you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, because you are very talented. I'm not trying to switch this interview, but I know you are very gifted and talented, and you've only scratched the surface, and you know that, right?
thank you. Yes.
Yes, good. See, you know it. You got to know what you know.
With all that you do with acting now, is music still in, I guess, your front view, or is it now in your rear view?
It's in my side view, because I will always sing. I love to sing. As far as it being as much in my front view as it used to be, where I've recorded, was with a group called Sweet Salvation back in the day, and we went on the road. We opened up for, again, you probably won't know the names of some of these groups, but a group called Tower Power, and we were the opening groups for. We opened up another group I was with. We opened up for Marvin Gaye way back in the day. That was the forefront. Now I say, I don't think it'll ever be in the rear, but it's going to be my side view. And it comes up ever so often where I will sing, or someone will ask me to come and sing and perform somewhere, but not as often as the acting piece, you know.
Yeah, I could see, because you are really doing your thing in acting. Because I actually watched this movie. I guess it was like a month or two ago now, and it was Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, which was me and my mom really like that one.
Did you like that movie?
Yeah, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Pretty funny. It had all of the crazies in there. We were on set for about five. Well, I was. The other ones were there much longer, but I was on set for 4 weeks, almost going. Yeah, it was about four weeks, and my role. I auditioned for that, and my role had lines. And as you probably know, in being in the industry, you know, you may go in with lines, but things might get cut out, and it has nothing to do with me personally, but that was a big movie. And when you have to narrow all that footage and all that A and B roll, all that other stuff, there's gonna be some cuts. There's gonna be, and so my role went from not talking, but you would see me throughout with the family, you know, and that was so much fun because being on set with the Cedric the Entertainer and Mike Epps and Monique and the gorgeous Nicola Ree Parker and Michael Clark Duncan and of course Martin Lawrence, all of those people, and being with them and hanging out for 4 or 5 weeks. And even though I didn't have a big role, but I had a big enough role where they needed me there for that whole period of time because it was a consistent. So they had to see me. I was one of the aunties. And it was, as you see, it was a lot of family stuff. It was all family. So a lot of people, some recognize me from it, but I look older in Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, I think, than I look now. I think because I had a little more weight on me, and they had me dressed in kind of hats, kind of frumpy looking to make me look that age. But it was a great time, and my first movie. So that was the other thing. That was my first movie. So all of my first, I had big firsts. Rocky movie, singing wise, my big first. Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, my big first on the big screen. And so I just, those are just some things that So anyway, so Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins is just had an all-star cast, really did.
Yes. Now, earlier you said you were a part of a music group. How is it just, I guess, being in a music group instead of just singing alone?
Well, I actually was singing. When I say a group, it was a band. I did sing alone, solo, but there was another guy, and I guess you'd say a group, but we all had our solo stuff. You know, we did when we were on the road, we had our own set of songs, but we also did background vocal for each other. So it was myself and another girl, and then the lead guy. So it was like, again, you wouldn't remember or know this group. It was Tony, Orlando, and Dawn. And there was a guy who was a lead singer. That's not our group, but it was a lead singer, and then two women who backed up. So it was kind of the same concept with the Sweet Salvation group. That was the name of the group. It wasn't a gospel group. They were called Sweet Salvation, and it was a bunch of guys from New Orleans. So we had the New Orleans flavor, and the lead guy was from New Orleans, and then we had the two sisters, myself and another Black woman, that we were doing background, but we also did lead. And the album, some people still hear the soundtrack. It's just called Sweet Salvation, and you can pull it up and download it. And see a lot of my songs that are on there, uh, that I'm doing the lead for. I do a version which, when it was out there during the time, and the critics were talking about, um, I don't sing nearly as good as Aretha Franklin, but I did a version of um, Respect. What
Mm.
you want, baby, I'm gone. Yeah, I did a version. You've got to check it out. If you ever download it, you're gonna say, was that you singing?" You'll see.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really love that song. Yeah.
yeah.
Pretty great. Pretty great. Now, we got through a lot of your acting, um, just a lot of your action. You've done a lot in acting. We've got on your voiceover,
Hmm.
still national. Everything was a first. That's actually incredible.
Hmm.
National.
Yep. Right.
Uh, all right, all these things, right? I'm wowed. Sorry, that's what I'm saying. I'm
No.
wowed just thinking about what you said during this interview. But now let's just talk about some, I guess, in real life awards, because you received the key to the city of Ocala, Florida.
Right. 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 That was. I was so surprised about that. I was speaking at a church in Ocala, and I had been going for a couple of years back and forth to this church. I knew the pastor, the woman who is a pastor there, and she would have me to come. Um, well, I would come every year for a music kind of a festival where I would be on panels, or it was all about the business of music. And my friend, who was the founder of this music conference, she would always make sure when I come, she said, "So you need to speak at some of these churches. We need to set you up, and you go speak at some of the churches, so if you can stay longer." And so I would do that. And this particular church in Ocala would be one of the churches. And I remember one year they had it. I went to speak, and they had an event, and the mayor at that time, I can't even tell you. I mean, I got the gold key. It's down in my basement in our little trophy room, but presented me with the key, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" And they had it in the paper. Now, what that means, it's probably a great thing. It's something written on the history of Ocala. Um, it wasn't like I had carte blanche every time I came into the city and could have everything I wanted, even though they always took care of me when I'd go. The pastor of the church, Pastor Brown, they'd always take care of me, with whatever, if they flew me in, they took care of hotel, whatever that was. So it was just an honor. Just to receive recognition is like, it's an amazing thing. And people, I don't take that for granted.
It's something.
Yeah,
It's really just
yeah,
confirmation
amazing.
you're doing something good.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I'm grateful.
Now, also, you and your husband were inducted into the Martin Luther King Jr. Board of Preachers of Morehouse
Mhm.
College.
Right, right, and that was another amazing. It was a surprise for us both. I and the way that, because I was wondering, when they approached us and sent us the letter, basically saying that they had been invited and they were honoring us, and then I found out later it comes from recommendations. So someone, and I just have to this day, someone recommended us for this recognition. And they don't really tell you. Maybe you eventually find out. And I got to talk to my husband about that to see if he ever really found out. But all we know is we got our directives, our instruction. We have actually this beautiful picture. We had to come, and all of us had to wear our robes and all of the
Okay.
paraphernalia, all of whatever that came with it. And that picture, I haven't been on the campus, Morehouse campus, but I believe all that who have ever been recognized, that they have each year. I don't know if it's an annual thing. I think it is. I don't know if it's still going on now, but your pictures are in the historical wherever they keep all of the various plaques and pictures, and so I gotta find out if it where it's existing there at Morehouse.
That's something.
Thanks for bringing that up. I got to make a note to myself to,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. We've talked about your career. We talked about your awards, but you are a wife, mother, grandmother, and you are a minister as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do you
Yeah.
keep all these things circulated, and what made you, I guess, become a minister?
Well, there's, you probably hear the terminology where people say, I've been called. And somebody say, well, did somebody call you up on the telephone, and you answer the phone and said, hello. And they said, oh, I'm calling you to be a minister. Uh, there has always been a calling on my life, and that calling just simply means there's an unction, there's something down in your spirit, and you know that God has assigned you and ordained you to do whatever that calling is. It may not be preaching, it could be singing,
Yeah.
could be teaching, it could be been called to be an encourager. Everybody has thing. A calling doesn't necessarily mean that you got to go find a church and get up in somebody's pulpit and trying to be a pastor. Because some of them that are out there doing that, and I hate to say it, they missed their call. They weren't called, and you have to have the right motive behind it. And many people get caught up into this, and they're not caught up into Him and doing the work of the Lord. So for me, my husband, when I married him, was a pastor. And so it was like a part of in my DNA, and of course in his, that, and I was raised, my mom and dad were Christians. They were strong believers, and they raised us up that way. And so as I grew older, as the Word of God talks about, we don't depart from it. And that when I married the man that I married to, even though before I married him, I was always involved again in church and doing the work of the Lord. And then when I married him, it just sort of carried on, because we lived in Hawaii for almost 3 years. He was called to pastor a church in Hawaii, and so we lived there. And it was at that time where I really felt a tug, a little, actually before we got to Hawaii, because at that time when we got married, we were involved with the denomination American Baptist. And so there were a lot of things that I would get involved with under that American Baptist, and went on from there. And then when you become a pastor's wife, what happens a lot of times is people assume that you got to be, oh, must be a speaker. And I just happened to be one, but that's not what I was doing. But the churches would ask me to come and speak for Women's Day and different things like that. So then it became a kind of and I felt God beginning to tug at my heart, because I would be the type of minister that would share my story and my testimony, still do it to this day, not trying to wear a mask or make people think that I'm holier than thou. So my ministry and my platform became where people knew that she's just for real. She wasn't born saved. She wasn't born living a holy life. She has experienced a lot of life and talks about how God brought her through, and she's stronger and wiser and better. And so that's been my platform since then all the way to now. And when I finally, I guess you'd say, accepted it, and then pretty much, I guess you'd more or less say my husband, who wasn't forcing the issue, but pretty much said, I was wondering when you were going to do that. So it wasn't like him saying, you. It had to be something I had to really feel. And God said, this is it. So here we are. And so that ministry is not just in a pulpit, it's on set. Do I preach and carry my Bible on set? No, I represent. And when I represent, when people see me, I want them to see Jesus standing up in me. And I don't even have to utter the word, I don't have to quote a scripture. I just live a life that they're like, there's something about you. And when somebody, you don't want to say that to me, because once you say there's something about you, I just don't know what it is, I'm going to tell you what it is. And you're going to know when you ask. But yeah, so it's a part of what we do. We are ministers. All of us
Yeah.
are ministers. You and I right now, we're ministering to each other. We that means we administer. When I speak or you say something encouraging, that's life. You're speaking life. Did you quote a scripture? No. Did you open up your Bible and shake it at? Nope. But you say, you're incredible. You're incredible. That's life. I say things to you. I say, you're gifted and you haven't scratched the surface. That's life. You hear you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not, I can throw the word at you, but I want to throw my life at the foot of, at the feet of the Jesus. And I throw that. And when I live my life accordingly, lives are changed. And I don't even have to quote a scripture. That's who I am. Back to your original thing. Tell us who DeEtta is. I want to be the walking Bible, living the life.
Wow. Okay. That is something. That is incredible. That is noble. Now, with all the things that you do with acting, with being a mother, being a grandmother, being a minister, being a singer, being a voice artist, what do you do when you have a time to relax?
I, I love to go to the movie theater, even though you can nowadays see everything you want to see right through streaming and on
Yeah.
with the, what is this thing, like my daughter, the fire stick or whatever, you can
Mhm.
have all, you can watch everything. But for me, the pandemic kind of stopped, but I kind of started back up a little bit going back into the theater. But when I'm chillaxing,
Mm.
I will go and take myself by myself to lunch or breakfast and catch a matinee on a Saturday. I will go by myself to I figure out what movie I'm going to see, and I will go, and my family will know. I will buy 2 tickets. I will pace out if I'm going to go see this movie, and then I say, oh, I want to see that one too. Okay, by the time this one is over, I won't have to leave the theater. I can just hang in there because I got a ticket to go to the other one,
Mhm.
and that's the way I chill. I don't have to talk, and I don't like to go to the theater with people that are chatty. So my husband is chatty, or he'll go to sleep and wake up and want to then talk about, well, what happened? And I'm like, no, 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 we're not doing that. So I don't go to the movies with him. My son, uh, back in the day, he's grown up. We would still go to the movies, but he works and he's on the go and all of that. But he would be my movie partner because he and I would go see some of the same stuff because he
Mhm.
knows I like he likes the Fast and Furious, all of that sequel. There's we like the same kind of stuff. The only thing is I like some of the mystery thrillers, stuff
Yeah.
like that, and he's kind of like, no, thank you.
That's how my
But
mom is.
yeah, she doesn't like thrillers.
No, she doesn't like. She might do with mystery, but she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like anything really thriller, anything close to horror. She does
Mm-hmm.
not like at all.
Yeah,
Nothing like that.
yeah, I understand. There are a lot of people that don't. I don't like. I mean, there's certain ones I don't stomach, like Saw. You probably heard though. There's a sequel of Saw. That's a lot of that's a lot of stuff. But I give me a good like those movies like Us and uh, what's that movie where the guy Get Up. Uh, have you heard of any of those movies?
I've heard of Us and Get Up, but I
Okay,
haven't watched those yet.
yeah, they're old now, but because you're too busy doing what you're doing, which is good. You don't have time for a lot of TV. What are
I
your
mean, sometimes I try to watch it, but with my mom, it's just like, Jalen, you know I don't want to watch that.
right? See, and I watch them all that by myself. If they don't want to watch it, my my husband always makes jokes about when I'm watching TV, and he'll say, "What are you?" And he'll look and say, "Oh, you're watching some of that garbage." That's what he calls it, garbage.
Wow. But actually, just now our time has shortly come, sadly, come to an end. So before you go, can you tell us where can we download your music, where we can follow you, where we can find more information about you, and all that?
Okay, so my name, all social, it's DeEtta. So DeEtta West. So it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I have the nerve, even though I'm not really on it like that, but TikTok, all of it. That's the way you brand yourself by your name. You're going to be able to find me by that name. IMDb, if you're trying to find what movies, go to imdb.com and then you type in my name and it'll pop up and then you click on and it'll take you to that. You can probably Google, yeah, you can Google me and there's some stuff that you would be able to tell me that's out there on YouTube that I've had people at times when they interview me, they'll say, you know what I saw on YouTube? I saw da 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 da. And I'm like, really? I
Really?
said, oh yeah. And so then I'll go and I'll Google myself sometime, very rarely, and I'll say, oh, that's what they were talking
That's what they
about.
were talking about.
Yeah, they'll say, yeah, I saw you singing. I won't complain, a gospel song. I saw you singing, and I'm like, really? Oh, okay. And then so what they do is some of the things that I've done over the years, over decades, you can search and find me singing in somebody's church that it, for some way it got up on YouTube. So that's another way. And then for people who are interested in seeing something soon, well, aspire, just Google me, and once you get the names, or IMDb, and when you get the names of all my movies, you'll just Google them, and it'll tell you where you can find them, find the movies that I'm in. And I've got a lot of stuff on Tubi, so check out Tubi, and then some new stuff that just came out. He Who Finds. It's a Cinderella Christmas tale. He Who Finds. And Player. That's on Tubi.
Okay.
What else do we have on Tubi? Safe Word. It's on Tubi. We got a lot of stuff going on. I got something I just finished. They're in post production now, so that'll be out soon. I can't talk about that yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, and the piano lesson. That's not out yet, but that's with Denzel. Denzel Washington's son directed it, and then John David starred in it, and it's got a whole cast of Samuel L. Jackson and the gentleman. Oh, what is his name? He plays Harpo in The New Color Purple. Oh my gosh, he's in it in this called The Piano Lesson. And that's going to be coming out. The strike kind of stopped a lot of stuff, but things will be kicking in next year.
Okay. Well, all right. I can't wait to watch it. I definitely can't wait to watch the Christmas special where I see all the Christmas movies that you are in, because I want to see that. And I'm gonna rewatch. And that was a great movie, by the way. I'm going to rewatch Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, because I have to see you in it. I have to.
Now, and then you have to look. You'll see. You'll say, okay, there she is. Okay, there she is. She fell down in the kitchen. There's a scene that I fell,
Oh.
and it wasn't a part of the scene, but they kept it in because it was so appropriate for when Cedric and Martin were fighting, and they came fighting through the kitchen. And so you'll see where I slipped, and it was an accident. And they stopped and said, "Are you okay, Miss Addie?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good. Okay, all right, let's get her cleaned up," and da 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 da. But they kept they kept the fall in the movie. I love it. Yeah, so check it out.
All right, will do. So thank you very much for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank you so much for having me, and you stay great like you are.
All right, will do. Thank you so much.
Take care.
All right, bye.
Bye.
And thank you to the wonderful audience out there in the audience. And before we go, we have to talk about our sponsors one more time. It's On Time Sunwear. Now, these sunglasses are always on time. They look stylish. They look fantastic. You look cool in these. Like it's just like some kind of enhancement to your look. It's crazy. It's crazy. I didn't even know sunglasses like these existed. But if you think these are a little too bland for you, I might get it. I might get it. But there are some wild good sunglasses if you look them up. So please go to Facebook, look up On Time Sunwear, because they have from casual business, they have to sparky, summer, relaxing. They have it all right. So if you guys do want some nice sunwear that's always on time, please check out On Time Sunwear. Also, the Mitchell's Academy of Music and Dance. Again, I've been with the Mitchells for a long time, and they know what they're talking about. They have performed for so many, countless, and it's incredible. They really have a gift with music. They could feel it. So if you guys do have a passion for music, please check them out because they are incredible what they do. They will enhance your skills before you even know it. So please check them out. Also, Tropical Flavor Caribbean Restaurant. The food's delicious. It has that Caribbean flavor. It's crunchy. It's incredible. It's big. Again, the fish was like this the length of the table. It's crazy. So if you guys want some great food, please check out Tropical Flavor for a true taste of the islands. Now, if you guys are in the industry and you do need an agent, please audition because they are incredible what they do. They've gotten me so many auditions. So if you guys are in the industry and you do need an agent who knows what they're doing and who are doing it really well, again, they have gotten me so many auditions. So please check them out. Also, Flame Entertainment. Flame Entertainment, she's incredible. She's been in the industry, as I said before. She's been through the ropes. She knows the ins and outs. She's really been in the industry. She knows what she's doing. So if she's managing you, you're going to get the help that you need, and you're going to make it really far in the industry. So if you need a manager, please check her out. Please check her out. Now, thank you all. Thank you all for coming on today. And, well, guess what day it is? It's the 21st, which means that Christmas is coming up. And it's this year has been really, I mean, I'm saying this like it's New Year's coming up, but the year has been through basically everything, and Christmas is now happening. So please spend time with your family, spend time with your loved ones. Please spoil yourself. It's Christmas. Come on. So if you guys want any more information about what's going on with me, look me up, Jalen Says TV on Facebook, because I will have mainly all my information. If you guys are interested in some Cane Corso puppies, also DMS should be under Cat Coles on Facebook. So if you are interested in Cane Corsos, please contact us. I mean, they look adorable, so why wouldn't you? And thank you all again for coming on. Again, I do wish you all a Merry Christmas and stay tuned.